Our next speaker is Geethanjali Radhakrishnan. She's the founder and managing director at Adiuvo Diagnostics. And let's learn from her experience in leveraging deep tech for improving diagnostic and care outcomes, and also kind of ushering a era of intelligent medicine in digital delivery. And often at the part where especially quality care is often not available in low resource small towns. So let's hear from her how they leverage the power of deep tech to improve diagnosis and care in the last mile of the healthcare delivery system. So over to you, Gitanjali.
Yeah, thanks, Amol. I hope you can see my screen.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm Geethanjali, founder of Adiuvo Diagnostics. So Adiuvo means to help or to aid people. Um, 8 years back, when I founded the company, the reason was very simple. I come from a humble background. I lived in the hills all through my early childhood days, and access to healthcare has always been 100 kilometers away. So I'm a bioengineer by background, and when I founded the company, I was deeply impacted by one problem, which is the problem of misuse of antibiotics, which are leading to amputation, especially for wound care patients. Like the example of a patient over here who's a farmer who has been treated with antibiotics for more than 8 years for a simple fungal infection, and it was misdiagnosed at a very early stage in his nearest hospital. So, which is why we founded the company, and we wanted to do something where anybody, be it a compounder, a nurse, or even a multi-speciality hospital, would be able to use it at the point of care without any need for chemicals, reagents, which is why our vision has always been to develop label-free point of care solutions. What we have envisioned through this problem statement is a breakthrough technology just by shining light and covering from the entire spectrum from UV to thermal region. We're able to see these are four tubes of bacteria, and you can see when we leverage their natural fluorescence that comes from them, you can see the distinct bacterial fluorescence, and you wouldn't believe that each of these tubes have distinct bacterial signatures in them, different bacteria, and we are all just using the natural fluorescence without adding any chemical reagents. So we have multiple patents granted for this particular technology in India, US, Europe, and Singapore, and many other pending, which has garnered widespread attention through many MNCs. And this is the particular technology which we are working on for a wound care application. So the problem of wound care just doesn't start with a simple fungal infection gone wrong. It's much more significant, starting with diabetic foot ulcers, where every 30 seconds there is a limb amputated anywhere in the world. It's a global problem. Be it burn incidents, where you know that for a 7 million wound cases, there are only 200 beds available just to cater the burns incidences in Delhi alone. So again, it's a huge issue in itself, and also post-surgery monitoring. This is another big wound care segment. And what is very common is 70% of these wounds delay in healing because of an infection. Bacteria is everywhere. Because of blood flow, you cannot see how the blood is flowing through the wound regions. And the correct method is a visual assessment. You look at a wound and you make an assessment whether the wound is going to heal or not, what procedures to do, and it's not evidence based, in short. So the existing technologies, of course, in terms of diagnostics, is your standard culture test. There are many methods ranging from a culture method to RT-PCR to many other mass spectrometer methods, but it requires a lab facility. And many times, doctors in tier 2, tier 3 do not send it for a culture unless it is needed. And these reports take 3 to 7 days to come back. So the patients really had to revisit the doctor to know what antibiotics they need to be prescribed with. And for blood flow, you have various other technology. Again, it requires that like a CT angiography where you need dedicated rooms for these imaging assessments to be done. And again, some of these other technologies that are available to measure blood flow is again contact based. It just looks at one point, but not on the wound on the whole. So this is exactly the gap which we wanted to address, and we understood that 80% of these downstream complications can be prevented if there is a method or a technology available. So what we have developed is a first ever AI-enabled comprehensive wound assessment called Illuminate, where we provide both screening and point-of-care diagnostic tests. So either a patient with the help of a smartphone application can monitor his wound in-house and gets connected to the nearest hospital or a healthcare worker who has a suite of products made by us, which can give you all these parameters which are very important to assess how risk is the wound at. And this was all developed through 8 years where we understood the market and how best we can connect till the last mile. So with Illuminate, a wound that you can visually see in this way, you're immediately able to see how much of infection is present just by the natural fluorescence coming from the wound because of bacteria. And it also tells you how much of blood flow is present, which is in a color coded format, which are the regions of lower blood and which requires immediate attention. And a comprehensive wound report is generated in just under 2 minutes. So such a solution can be operated by anybody, and it also has importance even in a multi-specialty hospital. So it caters to all kind of wound application and wound patients, and we provide care at each point of the wound journey. So it's a very novel optical biopsy solution that's 100 times faster, 92% cheaper, and we are doing a number of impact assessment where it's proven to improve the wound healing 3x times and reduce antibiotic misuse, because AMR is the biggest problem upcoming in India by 58%. The technology involves shining light. We look at specific parameters coming from both blood and also bacteria, which are captured as multispectral images. And we use an AI. So AI is pretty much misused these days, but we use this because we need to compensate for the background noise contributed due to various skin colors, different ethnic population. And we are the only technology in the entire world we are able to use it on any kind of skin color. With this, we have validated with more than 92% accuracy, and we have multiple journal publications to validate our claims. We have a manufacturing license in India, and we have spread across both west, south, and the northeastern part. And right now, we are actively working in Northeast and Kashmir through our both screening and point of care solution, where we are able to monitor a number of cases, burn incidences, diabetic foot ulcers, and we provide an easier dashboard that is centrally located by a healthcare worker to assess where are the regions of patients at risk because of a potential wound cases leading to an amputation or an infection or low blood flow. So this is again a 2-year thing that we are undergoing. We hope we are successful at the end of this 5G healthcare use case. Of course, the company was not built in a day. We had a number of, our journey was pretty rickety. So we started with a government grant. We're happy for their support. In 2018, we did our clinical studies. We were funded by social impact investors. And because of the number of grants, the patents that we have granted, we got a lot of attention. And right now we have 3 joint ventures. One for this digital wound health application with the American Wound Care President Association. We are launching this application next year, both in US and in India. And we are also entering with the point of care solutions for wound care, plastic, reconstructive, and breast cancer surgery. And we also have attention in terms of non-medical application for water quality monitoring and all of that with a pharma entity. So, of course, we have a team which is rock solid, which is helping us with their experience and various other things. And thanks so much.